Yeah. I love my HBCU. And boy, I love it, love it. I love it, love it. I love my HBCU. And man, I hope my team they won one. Yeah. I hope my team they won one. Yeah. Man, I hope my team they won one. I hope my team they won one. Yeah. I tune into the HBCU Sports Lab to see if my team won or lost. If they lost, I'm quiet as a mouse. But if they won, keep tab. I'ma do the dab, yeah. Dr. Cavil, he know what he be talking about. Mike and Charles, they know what they be talking about. They compress the analytic data with this hip hop. If you know them like I know them, they gon' tell you if your team, if they won or lost, and who the ball, So listen to Professor, yes sir, and pay attention, cause he gon' teach a lesson.
This is Dr. Cavil with Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington, Charles Bishop. I think Mike is literally jumping on as we speak, so we're gonna give him a chance to get into the classroom before we officially shut the door. He's sliding into that door as I come up there and get ready to shut the door. I think he just in time to get in before we lock the door. Mike, you just making it on time. I see you, Mike. I see you running down that hallway. Man, you need to do a little more of your workout, brother.
Man, running is an understatement, brother.
Hey, welcome to episode 304 Inside the HBCU Sports Lab radio show and podcast. The show that's covering the sporting HBCU dash for all things HBCU sports, from institutions large and small, from the NAIA to the NCAA. We share insights and information on the HBCU sports culture, HBCU athletic aesthetics to facilitate the story of HBCU athletic programs in the business of HBCU sports. I would say, Charles been on the treadmill, so he done picked up a little bit of speed, so he laughing at everybody like he know what he doing.
Hey, Doc,
a little bit.
Doc, I had that flashback to back when I was online and just trying to slide in the door right before the door closed.
And one brother gonna see you. Somebody gonna see you about how slick you are. Somebody gonna be like, "Wasn't you in here 30 seconds?" No, man, I made.
No, I've been here.
No, you were 30 seconds. I'm your host, Dr. Kenyatta Cavil, along with my co-host, Mike Washington, Charles Bishop, filming from our home studios and sending a signal live to KSOH 1230 AM studios with the Texas Radio Hall of Famer Ralph Cooper in the beautiful home of Texas Southern University from Houston, Texas. As I talk about it, Mike Washington, how you doing today?
Oh, good, brother. Life on the road.
Oh, yeah, we understand. Charles, how you doing today?
Doing well, Doc, doing well. It's good to be back in here on Tuesday and recap some of these games from this exciting action this past weekend. A lot of great matchups this past weekend, and then got some great games this upcoming Saturday.
Yeah, we're going to start talking about some of those big-time games coming up this Saturday. We did do a wrap-up for those that didn't catch it. Check us out, 9 o'clock a.m. Central Standard Time. As you know, on Sunday mornings, go check it out. We break down all those big-time games from this previous weekend. But let's get into some of this news of the day. Unfortunately, we have the news of Coppin State and Mourns loss of men's basketball alumnus Larry Yarbray. Coppin State mourns the loss of former men's basketball standout Larry Yarbray, who died on Saturday in Delaware at the age of 51, a native of Chester, Pennsylvania. Yarbray earned all MEAC honors and was the starting point guard on the Eagles' first ever NCAA tournament team in 1990. Yarbray 622 career assists, our school record, and he held the MEAC record in the category of nearly 3 decades. Yarbray 194 steals, also ranked 4th in school history. Coppin, under the leadership of legendary head coach Ron Fay Mitchell. I'm gonna take you back a little bit. Went 78-40, which spanned from 1988 to 92. For the last 5 seasons, Yarbray served as the head basketball coach at Delaware County Community College in Media, Pennsylvania. Prior to that, Yarbray was the head coach of Chester High School, where he combined a record of 214-53 in 9 seasons, guiding the Clippers to back-to-back PIAA Class 4A titles. Yarbray coached the only undefeated team in program history when Chester went 32-0 during the 2011 and 12 season, and subsequently named Daily Sports Figure of the Year. Clippers went 63-1 during those state championship run, which included a 60-game winning streak. So we got it done in many different ways. Take a moment to honor Yarbray in terms of Coppin State mourning the loss of the former men's basketball standout, Larry Yarbray. With that being said, wanted to get into some other news. What's on your mind, Charles, in terms of some of the news of the day?
Yeah, let's start off with the players of the week. We're going to start off with the MEAC this week, as South Carolina State running back Kendra Flowers was named the MEAC Offensive Player of the Week, presented by Coca-Cola. The conference announced on yesterday, and also South Carolina State B.J. Davis was named Defensive Player of the Week, while North Carolina Central linebacker Max Huron was named the Rookie of the Week. So let's take a look at these guys in terms of their standout performance this past week. As Kendra Flowers, he rushed for 153 yards, the third highest single game rushing total of his career, and 2 touchdowns in the Bulldogs' 33-9 win over Bethune-Cookman. He scored from 1 yard out at the end of the first quarter and later had a 67-yard touchdown midway through the third quarter. B.J. Davis picked off a pair of passes against Bethune-Cookman, including one he returned for 59 yards for a touchdown in the fourth quarter. He also chipped in 5 tackles, 2 solo, as the Bulldogs held the Wildcats to just 2 scores. So B.J. Davis and Kendra Flowers, offensive and defensive players of the week in the MEAC.
See what they're doing in the MEAC. Mike, you want to tell us what they're doing in the SWAC?
Why, show, Doc. I will. The SWAC is named Grambling's Quaterius Hawkins, along with Jackson State's Niles Gady, Alejandro Mata, and Cevion Wilkerson. It's SWAC football players of the week for their outstanding performances. And these guys played above the rim, sort of to use the basketball vernacular. Offensively, Hawkins, of course, put on a showcase in the second quarter of Grambling State's game versus Northwestern State on Saturday. He contributed to touchdown pass of 83, 20, and 71 yards as he threw for 292 yards in the first half. Now, Hawkins finished the night 13-23, 293 yards to go, along with 3 touchdowns. And get this, no interceptions, fellas. Defensively, Gady, I think Charles knows who Mr. Gady is.
Niles Gady. He's
Gady,
a ball player.
Gady, I'm sorry. Tallied a career high 3.5 tackles with also contributing to a career high 4 tackles for loss in Jackson State's 16-3 win over Tennessee State on Saturday. His efforts on the defensive side of the ball helped limit Tennessee State to only just under 150 yards, including only 2 yards rushing. And then specialists, Mr. Alejandro Mata, 3 field goals and an extra point in Jackson State's win over Tennessee. Y'all got to come up with a nickname for him. Seriously.
Automata.
Okay. Alamana. Okay. Y'all got it. I said he is too good. So in a defensive battle, of course, everybody knows it was a defensive battle. His 3 field goals from 28, 27, 30 yards in the second and third quarters erased a first quarter deficit and provided JSU, Jackson State, also known as the I Love, the lead for good. It marked the first time that a Jackson State kicker has connected on 3 field goal attempts in a game since 2014. I don't know where they come up with these data points, but it's a data point. So
that sounds like a Dwayne special there.
Exactly. And then last but not least, newcomer Mr. Wilkerson amassed 109 yards of total offense in Jackson State's 16-3 win over Tennessee State. He tallied season highs in rushes of 15, rushing 81 yards, 81, receptions 3, and receiving yards 28 as the Tigers went on to their defeat in the Southern Heritage Classic. So kudos to those folks that have been identified by the SWAC as players of the week, weekly honors. There are a few others, but here's who the SWAC has recognized.
Yes, kudos to the MEAC and the SWAC, those that were celebrated as players of the week. As you said, talking about data points, this is the second data point in terms of Jackson State defense where they do not touchdown. Something to keep our eyes on. Charles charts that as he has a history, not just the SWAC, but particularly Jackson State in terms of best defenses. He told us to watch out last year, and he seems to have a smile on his face in terms of Jackson State defense this year. And thus far, they're hitting on all the points that you want. Let me give a shout out to those followers out there. Carol Kellum, they're in Waters, getting in here, saying, what's up, folks? Talking about good evening to the lab. William E. Davis, Barrett Williams says, go Jags. Mary Allen says, hello, everyone. William E. Davis is in the house. Jonathan Blackman is in here. Go South Carolina State, Benedict College, and Allen University. Seems like he's representing South Carolina. Tough. I like it. G. Boom Holly is in here. Got in right before Mike. Oh, yeah. G. Boom Holly sliding in as well. I see you. Check Hunt. I wasn't going to say nothing until you told on yourself. G. Boom Holly. Rodney 11 Club. I see. LaShawn Harris. Jerome G. Sutton. Appreciate the messengers. Jerome. Kate Johnson. Great evening, Sports Lab. I'll take that in effect as I give the HBCU marching sport top 10 on Thursday. Jazzy State. Andrea Scott. Thomas Einstein Maddox. Kate Johnson is in the house. Lonnie Shaw. Deep in here today. I see y'all must have some HBCU football going on. Arby Parker says, good evening, lab. Yes. In here, Chris Tucker. Appreciate y'all. Keep it coming. Also, in terms of the media, I'm sure y'all might have heard a little bit about this. Deion Sanders calls HBCU money games questionable, particularly the Power 5 games where he broke down the money associated with Appalachian State at FBS program, getting 1.5 going to Texas A&M. Georgia Southern get 1.4 going to Nebraska. Oh, by the way, these teams won their game as they got the check going back to A&T's days. Show me my money. Give me my money. Quote of the decade probably in terms of that. But then he underscored his displeasure with some of the payouts associated with FCS level FAMU with 450 playing North Carolina. Did give credit to Southern in terms of getting upwards to $750,000, $760 in terms of what was quoted. Alabama State going to UCLA in the Rose Bowl, getting $590 in terms of those. So interesting to see what that looks like in terms of Marshall getting 1.25. Obviously, you do got to point out that these are FBS programs, but he talked about specifically not just G5, but the Power 5 in that revenue. One of the things that I really latched on that I hadn't heard a lot of dialogue about. Everybody obviously either went one way or the other, either pointing out this is FBS or FCS payouts. A lot of folks were talking about, hey, the price of doing business today is not the same as yesterday. The bags went up. Some of this is along with you hearing with the Southern Heritage Classics, which all makes sense. But one of the bigger points that I thought was the collective component that he talked about the conference or HBCUs setting a pact of a floor. You know, what would be the minimum floor of saying what would be acceptable to the conference, which is powerful when you talk about the economic dollar and understanding how do you leverage your brand in such a way that you can increase the programs that may have the ability to negotiate more versus some HB programs that may not have as big a brand as others that cannot negotiate. But if you come together in a collective framework, then it's easier to navigate that path to say that you can't just pick us off and say, all right, you won't do it for this price, we'll go over to this program. And now you feel like you got to take whatever's offered versus understanding from a collective position. No, if you want us, you want the band, you know, we understand the value that we have as a collective, and you want any of us, we're more than ready to participate in this negotiation, but this is the floor that we are and accept. Whatever that floor may be, we can negotiate and say what we agree that number should be for HBCU SWAC at the FCS level. But the idea of understanding the power of the collective, I think, is something that may have been overlooked from a lot of people. So I wanted to kind of bring that to the table and got some of my final thoughts on that. Let's get into our first break. We'll come back right after this and get into the poll rankings and see what Charles and Mike have to say about that. Stick with us. We'll be right back after this break.
Southwestern Athletic Conference and HBCU Athletics. There's only one place to go. Tune in to the Carlos Brown Show, exclusively on the Black College Sports Network.
Let's get back to strolling instead of scrolling. Before we can safely come together, we need the facts on COVID-19 vaccines. Visit getvaccineanswers.org so you can make an informed decision for yourself and for your family.
Some carriers will give you just one measly entertainment subscription. One is no fun. With Verizon, there's up to 7 entertainment subscriptions with your unlimited plan. That's 7 times the... 7 times the... No! 7 times the... Music, gaming, Disney Plus, Hulu, ESPN Plus, and more. That's 7 times the entertainment! Because everyone deserves better. And with plans starting at just $35, better costs less than you think.
If you think all pads are exactly the same, think again. This is Always Ultra Thins reinvented with the Always Triple Protection System. This pad wicks gushes 90% faster, absorbs even more so you can feel dry, and locks odors in. Rethink your pad for up to 100% leak-free and odor-free comfort with the totally reinvented Always Ultra Thins. This is always like never before.
Nope. Nope.
Come on, him?
Ooh, I like him.
Quick, the quicker picker-upper. Bounty picks up messes quicker, and each sheet is 2 times more absorbent so you can use less.
He's an 8.
He's a 9.
Bounty, the quicker picker-upper.
At Tyson, we know taste is local. Some like their beef pit smoked, their chicken spiced all the way up, or their pork sweet and saucy. Local flavors, global impact. That's what feeding the world is all about.
This is the BCSN Pod Zone, your place for the news, views, and conversations about all things related to HBCU athletics. Here are the BCSN Sports Wrap, Dr. Cavil's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab, Knights of the Round Table, the pregame show, the Carlos Brown Show, the ONG Strike Zone, and more in one place. We are changing the way you consume HBCU sports, one broadcast at a time.
Press the analytic data with your hip hop. If you know them like I know them, they gon' tell you if your team, if they wanna loud and who the ball. So listen to Professor, yes sir, and pay attention, cause he gon' teach a lesson.
This is Dr. Bill with Inside the HBCU Sports Lab. We're back for our second segment. We get into the poll rankings, week number 2, starting with the mid-majors. I want to see what the guys think. Let me get right into it. Receiving votes of Bluefield State, Big Blue, 1-1 on the season. Arkansas Baptist Buffaloes, as they bring back football, got the first victory over Texas College, hasn't played since. You got Central State Matadors that dropped out of the poll this week, along with Florida Memorial Lions. Florida Memorial Lions at 1-2, and Central State Matadors at 1-1. Into the top 10, we got 2 teams that are jumping in. They started number 10 with Kentucky State Thoroughbreds, 1-1 on the season. They jump into the poll rankings. At number 9, you have Savannah State Tigers. After a big victory, they jump back in as well with 15 points. Now into the previous ranked teams, you got number 8, Clark Atlanta Panthers out of the SIC, 1-1 on the season. They lose their last game, but they stay in the rankings, fall 1 spot, along with number 7, Bowie State Bulldogs, last year's Black college football mid-major national champions, according to Dr. Cavil, that is, and these gentlemen right here. They come in at number 7. They dropped 3 spots this week after a tough road loss to Saginaw State there. At number 6, rounding out the bottom 5 is Fort Valley State Wildcats, 2-0 on the season, getting off to a great start. See how they continue moving throughout the season with 54 points. They are up 3 spots. Let me get into the top 5, fellas. Fayetteville State Broncos, 1-1 on the season. They lose a non-conference contest and fall 2 spots with 63 points. Bringing us to Albany State Golden Rams. They go on the road to FAMU and Tallahassee. Put up a fight early, but then can't get it done. They scored late to kind of make it a contest. They're 1-1 on the season. They still have 2 first-place votes, but they dropped from number 1. So we get a new number 1. Stick with us, and we'll tell you who that is. Number 3, the Benedict Tigers getting that big win on the road. Lane against Lane. They go to 2-0. 2 first-place votes, 77 points. They move up 3 spots, gentlemen. At number 2, you have the Langston Lions, 2-0 on the season. That's in conference race as well. 2 first-place votes, 93 points. They stay at number 2, bringing us to the new number 1, Virginia Union Panthers, 2-0. They get the big road victory against Valdosta State, the number 2 ranked Division I team in the top 25 poll rankings. They get a non-conference win against a historic white college, one of the best wins in some time. You might have to go back to the playoffs with Bowie State last year with a couple of wins in the playoffs. Go to FCS, you go back to South Carolina State back in 2014, 2016, something like that, when they defeated Wolford that won the SoCon. They were left out of the playoffs because they couldn't get it done against the MEAC. Those are some of the big victories. Let me go to you, Charles. What are your thoughts on the mid-major top 10 poll rankings? How did Dr. Cavil do this week?
I would have put Virginia Union right up there. That's a huge win over a nationally ranked team. Jada Byers, 32 carries, 319 yards. Huge game for Virginia Union. They are rightfully the number 1 team. But I tell you, a team that I would have put in the rankings this week is the Lincoln Lions from Pennsylvania. First road win in 7 years. First road win since 2015. That was 31 games they dropped on the road until this weekend. So I would have shot them into the poll ranking. So that's my thoughts on the mid-majors.
I see where you're thinking. I can see them receiving both, but you just dropped them in the top 10.
Drop them right in the top 10.
Big road win, as you said, first time in some time. So I can see where you're thinking. Let me go to Mike Washington to see what his thoughts are. He's stroking his, I would say beard, but he doesn't have one, a little chinny chin. But what do you say, Mike?
Yeah, I have to agree with you. First of all, Virginia Union, hands up. All praise thee. Yes, with that victory, yes, you deserve to be number 1. Langston, I think they're off to a great start. 2-0. Benedict, I don't know. I would have put Lincoln up in there because who did they beat? Central State.
Mm-hmm.
And who did Central State beat the previous week?
Winston-Salem State.
Winston-Salem State. I'm sorry. So they didn't just beat anybody. So I would have shot Lincoln at least into the top 5. First road victory against a quality opponent. I agree with my compadre there, CB. I would have put Lincoln up at least in the top 5. The other one I have a scratch in my head is Fort Valley. Now, yes, they just beat Kentucky State. Was at 9-7, something like that. But I think that they've shown that they're a strong enough team to be in the top 5 as well.
Mike, Charles, you see Mike just does not like the fact that Benedict went on the road and beat Lane, a Lane that took Pine Bluff to the road chapter. He's something else, but he just
I'm gonna let him take it over Tennis Berry.
Yeah.
I agree with you. Let him take it up. Let's go to the major division. I don't think there's much change here. There was a scare. Let's see what people think. Or was it really a scare? I'm not sure about that. The defense showed up as it has all year for the last year and a half, really. Receiving votes, Florida A&M Rattlers go to 1 and 2 as they get their big victory over the Albany State, as you see, a previous number 1 ranked team at the mid-major level, top 25 team, Division II wise. Tennessee State Tigers, they're still 0-2, but played 2 top 25 teams, so they received some votes. They're not in the top 10 poll as they fall out this week, along with Alcorn State Braves that go to 0-2 and also fall out the top 10 this week. So who do we have in there? 2 new rankings. Let's see. At number 10, Delaware State falls 2 spots, but they stay in the top 10 at 1-1. They lose a tough one to Delaware. Played well in some spots of that game. Put up a lot of yards, just couldn't get in the end zone. They have 17 points. Bringing us to number 9, Southern Jaguars, 1-1. I guess their first real test, or at least a conference test at FCS level. We get a chance to see the new version under Eric Dooley but they fall 2 spots after a tough loss to LSU. Yeah, Power 5 out of the SEC. Still, they lost 18 points. At number 8, Prairie View A&M Panthers. They fall 3 spots after a tough road loss. They go to 1-1, 1-0 in the conference. They had a lead up in there, played really well, but just like Tennessee,
take the points. Take the points. Take the points. Take the points. If you got the points on the road, take the points. I don't care.
Yeah, a lot of people saying that. At number 7, Grambling State Tigers. For those that don't know, Washington is referencing the fact late in the 4th quarter, as Prairie View was leading Abilene Christian, they were up 13-7. They get a chance to go for a field goal, or what they decide to do is go for 4th and 5. They don't get it, obviously turn the ball over. And it seems like the whole momentum of the game went in the other direction. Abilene Christian comes down the field and scores, and then a short 3 and out, and they get the ball back and they score and end the game, essentially with Prairie View not being able to get it done on their last drive.
You got Money Reyes as your kicker. Take the points. He's been good from 40+ yards. Take the points.
And we heard in the first part when you gave kudos to Jackson State kickers, Money Reyes, Money Mata, as they say, is like he really matters. He gets it done. So one team does it, the other one doesn't. I will say this, that Coach Prairie View A&M Panthers McDowell said on the media day, he said, hey, first year, learn about it. He said, I am more traditional open, where he said, you get a chance for points, you take the points. He said, don't worry, it won't happen again. So he owned up to it. Credit to him.
Credit to him.
Yeah, I give him credit. He owned it.
At number 7, Grambling State Tigers, they get a big win. Neutral site against Northwestern State. One of the first wins for the SWAC, HBCUs this season against FCS Historic White College. So you got to think about that and give them that. So they go to 1-1. They jump in the poll with that win. 43 points sets up a big matchup with a top 10 team in terms of the previous ranked number 1 team. We'll see if they stay there. Jackson State, that game was on the road between Hugh Jackson, former NFL player coach, against Coach Prime. We'll see what that means this weekend. And number 6, Alabama State Hornets. They go on the road, cross West Coast, long travel. They get a loss to UCLA. Have some good spots in there, but they fall to 2-1. They drop just 2 spots with that matchup. Top 5, you got Arkansas at Pine Bluff Golden Lions, 2-0. Not ranked, but they jump in the top 5 as they get it done and put a lot of points on the board, as you should, a team that you are outclassing in so many different ways. Also in the rankings, 2 spots up, Hampton Pirates, 2-0 on the season, 83 points. Number 3, North Carolina Central Eagles, looking good as they beat up on Winston-Salem State, their Division II foe and rival. They earn a first-place vote with that win, 93 points, remain at number 3. Bringing us to number 2, South Carolina State gets on the board with the win against the old rival now out of the SWAC in terms of getting a win for the MEAC against Bethune-Cookman. They have 5 first-place votes. They take away a first-place vote for Jackson State, but Jackson State stays number 1 with 6 first-place votes, 2-0 on the season, 1-0 in the conference as they defeated FAMU, but then they come back and beat another rival, or at least according to some, a rival, Tennessee State Tigers, in the Southern Heritage Classic, which seems like the last version for at least a while in many people's eyes. They have 113 points, remain at number 1, continue to get it done. So Jackson State Tigers remain number 1. They do lose 1 first-place vote after week 2, but defensively they are strong. They have not let a team score a touchdown, and these are teams that are pretty solid when you talk about FAMU and Tennessee State, at least what people's expectation of these 2 teams are. So it'll be fascinating to see what the Jackson State Tigers continue to do, and they play a team that put up some points, so we'll see if that makes a difference. But let me go to you first, Mike, in terms of the top 10 in the major division. What are your thoughts into the poll ranking?
No, actually, nothing with the top 10 in the majors. Man, that South Carolina State team, I saw that game. They are true to their name, rushing. Kendrell Flowers, 153 yards, beast mode. And I don't see nothing changing. So this South Carolina State team is strong. They can make a push for that top spot. So they played a very strong game. So nothing wrong with at least with your majors poll.
Yeah, man, I like that, Mike. You finally get your head on right. I like what you're doing there. I don't know what's going on, but we'll give you credit for it. Let me go see what's
Yeah.
Dr. Cavil's inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Watson and Charles Bishop after dark. But anyway, go ahead, take it away, Charles.
Yeah, I mean, I think the poll got it right this week. It was interesting to see North Carolina Central there with one first place vote. I thought that was correct. But big matchup this weekend, Jackson State and Grambling. Jackson State's defense gets to see another explosive type offense with Quaterius Hawkins, a 27-point second quarter that Grambling had this past weekend. A good out-of-conference win. We always celebrate out-of-conference wins with regards to the SWAC because it's been beaten down so much with these conferences that are geographically within their recruiting region. So a good win for Grambling. So that's going to be a good one with Jackson State Grambling. And Grambling people will tell you in a heartbeat, they have not lost in Jackson since 1999. So we're looking at 1999 to 2022. The Grambling Tigers have not lost to Jackson State.
What's that Sam Cooke song? Change gonna come.
Yeah, I believe so.
A change gonna come.
Good point. This is Dr. Bill inside the HBCU Sports Lab. We'll be right back after this second break. We'll get into halftime and bring you back for the second half of the show.
Support the Black College Sports Network so we can continue to provide you coverage. Go to myjbn.com/support and be a part of the Black College Sports Network.
They can follow their dreams. Let's get back to getting ticks instead of watching flicks. Before we can safely get out there, we need the facts on COVID-19 vaccines. Visit getvaccineanswers.org so you can make an informed decision for yourself and for your crew.
Charmin Ultra Soft has so much cushiony softness, it's hard for your family to remember they can use less.
Sweet pillows of softness.
This is soft. Holy Charmin. Oh, excuse me. Roll it back, everybody. Sorry.
Charmin Ultra Soft is so cushiony soft, you'll want more, but it's so absorbent, you can use less, so it's always worth it.
Now, what did we learn about using less?
You gotta roll it back, everybody.
We all go, why not enjoy the go with Charmin?
Maureen is saving big holiday shopping at Amazon, so now she's free to become Maureen the Merrier. Food is her love language, and she really loves her grandson. Like really loves.
Since 2002, Empowerment Resources, Inc., a nonprofit organization, has empowered more than 1,500 youth and adults in Duval and surrounding counties through its programs Journey into Womanhood, Girls Mentoring, Life Skills for Teens, and Parenting Education Coaching. To get involved with programs, volunteer, or donate, visit www.empowermentresourcesinc.org. Follow us on social media, facebook.com/empowerment.resources and instagram.com/empowermentjax.
Press the analytic data with your hip hop. If you know them like I know them, they gon' tell you if your team, if they wanna loud and who the ball. So listen to Professor, yes sir, and pay attention, cause he gon' teach a lesson.
The Bill inside the HBCU Sports Lab after dark. We have none other than Mike Washington, Charles Bishop, the professors in the building. Got a little update text here. It says, how is JSU not unanimous? I understand. I think you can make that argument. Also saying that South Carolina State should not be ahead of North Carolina Central because of the first loss for South Carolina State. Believes North Carolina Central should be ahead of them. I think a point can be made there too. But this is Dr. Cavil's inside the HBCU Sport Lab poll. Might ask you to vote in it, but other than that, stay in your place. I'm just Let's get into these matchups. Mid-major classic of the week happens to face both a Division II and an FCS program between the two private schools, big-time program. East Rutherford, New Jersey, MetLife Stadium, HBCU New York City Football Classic, NYC as they say it here. SIAC versus the MEAC, Saturday, September the 17th. Both of these teams trying to get on the board. Morehouse Maroon Tigers played well, but they're 0-2. Howard Bison played well in their last contest, or they haven't played a full game, I should say. Looked good in spurts, but they're 0-3. One of these teams get off the snide and gets a much-needed victory. Be interesting to see what the fellas think in terms of what that might be. Let me go with you, Charles Bishop. What are your thoughts in terms of this Howard University Morehouse matchup between the smart folks, as they might say?
Yeah, $1 million question. Can the Morehouse Maroon Tigers defense, can they slow down Ian Wheeler? I think Howard has a pretty powerful rushing attack that they'll unleash this weekend in the Big Apple. So I'm going with Howard for the easy W this weekend.
Mike?
I don't know.
It's going to be easy for Howard. I know the Howard like to get it. Some people not sure. Where are you going with this matchup?
I agree with him to a certain extent, but data point. What is Howard's record?
They're 0-2. Oh, yeah.
0-3, right? So
yeah, that's what
they are not exactly the beacon of efficiency, especially on the offensive side. So while I think they will beat Morehouse, I want to see how efficient their offense is. I don't know if Morehouse is just strong enough. If you look at I was looking at average sizes of their line. I was looking at offensive output.
I can tell Scott just wants a victory. He don't need to care if it's efficient or not. He wants a victory. But I can see Mike is going to break it down. I want to see if they're going to be efficient. Go ahead, Mike.
Let me get my data points out. So Howard's output on offense has been less than desired, and Morehouse seems to be improving. Nevertheless, I got Howard in this one. I don't think it'll be a pretty victory though.
Yeah, I see, boy. Y'all tough. Howard, he said they're gonna get it, but it won't be pretty. Like I said, Scott and them Howard Bison alumni, they just want a victory, pretty or not.
Howard put up 418 yards against the FBS opponent this past week. And they put up 418 yards against South Florida. So, and it was the running attack. It was Ian Wheeler. It was Jared Hunter.
Yes, they did.
Let's go to this next matchup, Independent. We're going to give some love to a program that just started football back again. And they've had some big wins in terms of just starting the program. That's Bluefield State, the Big Blue. They take on Central State Matadors. Everybody's going like, man, Central State is getting a lot of love the first couple of weeks. Yeah, that's just kind of how the schedule fit. Central State is 1-1. They go on the road, Mitchell Stadium, SIAC versus the Independent team that has knocked on the door, at least looking at seeing if they can get some love from CIAA. Not yet. This is 11 a.m. game, so it's early in the morning. Be wiping the sleep out of their eyes, as some would say, in terms of those parts, at least in Central time zone. It's noon there, so that's a little better pickoff when you're on the East Coast. Let me stay with you, Mike. What are your thoughts on this Central State Matadors matchup against the Big Blue, Bluefield State?
Oh, I got Central State on this one. They looking good. So no other picks for me. I think Central State is looking good. Offensively seems to run okay, but I think their defense will be able to hold up in this one.
Yeah, Charles, we doing our graduate class tonight. You know them late classes. You know how they go. You get a little blurry eyed. I see you over there. Give me some love on this game. What are your thoughts to this matchup? Make it sound exciting.
I like Bluefield at home.
Yeah.
Give me Bluefield at the crib. I like a little home cooking on this.
And they've been in terms of playing programs that are not great. They find to win some good ball games of teams that you think that should beat them, but are not necessarily world beaters. They find a way to come out of top, just like Johnson C. Smith. Johnson Smith, I'm sure, winning that game thinking, hey, we can get a victory here. No. Now, it went down to stretch the last play of the game, essentially, but Bluefield State found a way to get it done, and they got some big wins last year over some of those CIAA teams. Well, we'll see what they can do in the SIAC. I like what you say here. Let's get into our last break. We'll come back in the fourth quarter and give you the major division matchups, classic and independent game. Talk about that, and then we'll call it a close for the end of the evening. With that being said, stick with us. We'll be right back after this last break.
thank you guys for what you do for HBCU athletics. This is a fantastic avenue for all of us. This is our ESPN, so we love what you guys do. Brian, AD, Roy, all you guys at BCSN, we really appreciate what it is that you guys do for us.
Don't worry, Ma. We'll be there soon.
We? Is this the one?
Well, let's say I found the one who takes me to another level. Always stays calm under pressure. Most importantly, the one that helps me discover the coolest places.
This sounds wonderful.
Come outside, I'll introduce you.
They're here.
Definitely the one.
Introducing the all-new Nissan Frontier.
At CDW, we get speed as the new currency of success.
Our team spends way too much time tending to outdated applications and software when they should be focused on driving application agility and innovation.
CDW Amplify Development Services modernizes software and application development to help accelerate innovation and digital transformation.
So you mean building new applications, UI, and mobile interfaces?
Well, you said you needed to innovate more quickly.
Oh, so he's a listener.
To do more at scale, trust CDW Amplify Development Services.
It's like a loot machine. All around town, people trying to get down.
Press the analytic data with your hip hop. If you know them like I know them, they gon' tell you if your team, if they want a lot, and who the ball. So listen to Professor, yes sir, and pay attention, cause he gon' teach a lesson.
This is Dr. Cavil's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab After Dark. We got Charles Bishop and Mike Washington giving you the latest and greatest as we finished with the poll rankings earlier. We'll get into those marching sport poll rankings on Thursday. With that said, let's get into these major division games. We're going to start out with the HBCU Class Major Division Game of the Week, which features a conference division game to make it that much more important. We're going up to Arlington, Texas in Globe Life Park for the Arlington Football Showdown. That's Saturday 17th at 4 o'clock. It'll be on HBCU Go TV, so look for your local CBS affiliate type station. You got the Southern Jaguars that are 1-1 on the season. Haven't played a conference game, so this is their first conference matchup. But you got Texas Southern Tigers that are 0-2, 0-1 in the conference. They can't afford to take another conference loss. They'll pretty much be out of the picture, so they need this bad. They snuck up there in Arlington. That was not on time. Got the win last year in a nip and tuck game that had some calls that had everybody wondering different things. Although the conference said after the fact they got it right. With that being said, you got Eric Dooley, the coach over there at Southern, for his first conference game coming out of Prairie View. Hadn't had a loss to Coach McKinney over his years. So let me go to Charles. Is that where you going to pick up with this matchup?
$1 million question for me. When was the last time Eric Dooley lost to Texas Southern?
Yeah.
I mean, even when he was offensive coordinator at Grambling. I mean, I haven't seen him lose to Texas Southern and God knows when, and that's
you might have the days when he was at Southern or something. I'm not.
Yeah, I probably got to go back.
That's a really good big for those hidden facts. See if somebody can tell us about it.
Yeah, but I expect for this to be sort of a coming out party, if you will, for Bashan McCray. We saw against Florida Memorial, they could be pretty explosive, but I really wanted to see this Eric Dooley offense up against a SWAC West opponent. $1 million question, I think, for me is, can Texas Southern stop anybody? I know they can score points, but defensively, they still have not shown that they can stop anything. And until that happens, you have to go with Southern on this. I expect for Southern to be able to put up points. I expect a high-scoring game in this one because I do think both of these offenses can be prolific in the SWAC, but you got to go with Southern.
Yeah, I'm surprised if you say a high scoring game. I think Southern's defense is going to be formidable, but it'll be interesting to see if that's the point, which is one of the things I look at more in this matchup, which is Southern's defense against Texas Southern offense. But I want to see what Mike says. Andrew Body. Charles says he's going with Southern's quarterback McCray for a coming out game. Wow. Fascinating there. Andrew Body had some points against North Texas. You know, showing the life of what many people thought he was going to do.
Yeah.
Mike, take it away. What do you thought about this matchup?
No, I to be honest, gotta go with him. Andrew Body, he's got a slow start. His efficiency is 112%, but I think the efficiency for the Southern quarterback is right up with him. I think this is somewhat of a resemblance game data point for the Southern quarterback. So I think that defense for Dooley will definitely keep them at bay if Texas Southern couldn't do anything against a Prairie View defense. I do not think they'll be able to do anything against a Dooley defense. That goes as saying. So no, I take Southern all the way.
Now, Clarence McKinney offensively had some success against Dooley on the defensive side. Just couldn't get it done offense. Now, I will say that. But to your point, I see where you're going in this matchup. And I'm going to stick with you, Mike, as we shift over to the HBCU Independent Non-Conference Major Division game of the week. What happens to be a rivalry game. It used to be a MEAC conference game. Longer that way. It's in Hampton, Virginia, William Dick Price Stadium. When you get the Colonial matching up against the MEAC, we saw it last week with the city game with Morgan State and Townsend. That was pretty close. Townsend got the win. Can the MEAC get a little rebound, or will it go to the Colonial again? This is Saturday again, September the 17th at 1 o'clock. Game is on ESPN Plus. Hampton Pirates are 2-0 at Norfolk Spartans that are 0-2. Can the Spartans get off the ski victory, or will it stay in the Colonial and Hampton and start out the season at 3-0 when a lot of people thought they would be scratching for wins? Well, they got off the turf. I know it's early, but what do you say about this, Mike?
You know, if you'd asked me this question about 3 games ago, I probably would have picked Norfolk State. But I'm gonna go with Hampton. I mean, Hampton is showing some strength, especially on the defensive side. You know, Norfolk State, they've lost some games, but it's not the games they've lost, it's how they lost. I mean, 55-3, 63-7, given it was Marshall. Marshall just beat Notre Dame. James Madison weren't even competitive in that game. So I don't know what Norfolk State can really do. I know Hampton's going to come to play. So I'm going to go with Hampton on this one.
Like, shout out to Wilson. He said, this better be for extra credit after dark. I said, yes, it is. This is your graduate class. So it's a little extra points for those undergraduate students coming in here and finding out what it looks like at the graduate level. Yes, this is extra points. I like what you said there, Mike, but I want to see, does Charles Bishop agree with you? He started oohing a little bit, so he might have some different points. Let's see what he thinks.
Behold the green and gold at home. Ooh, this is tough. It's tough, but I got to go Hampton Pirates in this. Can Norfolk State stop Elijah Burris? Elijah Burris had a huge game against Tuskegee, rushed for over 100 yards, but they had multiple players, I mean, who really – who had some nice carries in this game. I think Hampton's going to bludgeon them in this game with regards to the rushing attack. I'm going to go with the Pirates. They got a little something going thus far this season. They got that little, I don't know. They got that Colonial Athletic Association mojo or something going on.
They got something cooking over there. I don't know what it is, but with that start they got, I gotta go with Hampton on this one.
I am a little bit concerned about
Dawson back. Y'all already threw the pixie dust off of Coach Odom's over there.
Well,
no.
Yeah. I am a little bit concerned about Hampton's quarterback Malcolm Hayes. He was a little loose with the football against Tuskegee, a couple of interceptions. So, but if they take care of the football, I think Hampton will get this win.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Great points by both of y'all. Thank you for being good stewards and partnerships in that. And that'll do it for us. As Jimmy said, that's extra credits with Dr. Mills inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington, Charles Bishop after dark. giving you some extra love here. Thanks for those that stuck with us and got it in terms of what it looks like. Give some quick shout outs for those that are able to jump back in with us this evening. Lynn Blow, Theron Waters, Anthony Weston, Jazzy Faye came back in here, checked it out. Appreciate you, Jazzy. Lonnie Shaw, Chuck Hunt is in the building always. Kerry Mickens, Ricky Burton, Noel Price got back in here. Belinda Johnson, Lonnie Shaw. Yes, we got the sound working, buddy. Wendell Davis, brother Wendell Davis. I see you, Juan C. Hill, coming in here back in class. Eric Evans giving some love in terms of what's going on here. Appreciate you. In terms of what that looks like, Lennon says y'all better give all of us a dozen crispy hot donuts tonight. Man, we give extra credit points about food, man. We trying to live the healthy lifestyle. But, you know, that's early in the morning. We get you some coffee and tea. Lonnie says, hey, Charles Bishop, for the safety reason, tell Shador Sanders to stop flashing that bling bling on national TV. Not good. Yeah, the only thing is good thing he's not on the West Coast where now it's a lot dangerous being around there. I think he might be okay in Jackson, Mississippi. To your point, sad news out there in terms of way the world turns in Los Angeles. So I do get the point there. Stephen A. Miller, Jimmy Wilson wants his extra points. Lenny Jenkins jumping in here. George Suggs has joined us as well. Kevin Crawford, appreciate you all checking us out. That'll do it for us. Thank you for listening to Inside the HBCU Sports Lab. Make sure to share our podcast with your friends and colleagues. I am Dr. Kenyatta Cavil, the Dean of HBCU Sports, coming from inside the lab in the College of HBCU Sports with Mike Washington, Charles Bishop. Again, we want to thank you for listening to Dr. Cavill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington, Charles Bishop every Tuesday and Thursday. We'll be back Thursday at 6 o'clock Central Standard Time. We look forward to as we continue to give you the latest news of the lab. Follow me, Dr. Kenyatta Cavil. That's DrKenyattaCavil. That's Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. DrKenyattaCavil. Inside the HBCU Sports Lab 1 on Twitter. That's Facebook and YouTube. Inside the HBCU Sports Lab. Dream big. Continue to move forward. We will talk with you soon. Charles.
Horse.
Mike.
Lecture.
Dismiss.